Fund for our annual distributions from the Cleveland Foundation. And then we also received our quarterly distribution from Key Bank for the Young Fund. And then in August, we have received from the Cleveland Public Library Foundation the restricted gifts for digital literacy in the Founders Fund, and then $15,000 for early literacy in our early literacy fund.
This is just amazing.
Thank you.
I move that this be placed to the full board.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. The next is our resolution to accept Sustainable Stores Grant from Cobb County. Any discussion on
Oh, I
that?
didn't know about that.
Marina could speak to it a little bit, or
I'm
So
very
hi.
excited about
I know.
Yeah.
Here, I have a PowerPoint. I printed it out. This is what I shared when I met with the managers that are participating in this program for you to peruse. So the Cuyahoga County Sustainability Department, we coordinated this grant opportunity for retailers to eliminate plastic bags. Well, we applied, we weren't sure if we would get it, being the library, you know, we're not your typical retail operation, and we did receive it. So I have 3 managers from Public Services who are enthusiastic about this grant opportunity, and they're champions for eliminating plastic bags in their locations. So that's the idea behind the grant opportunity, is that we receive $8,000 to purchase cloth bags, and then the county will also give us it's called the BYO bag, bags that are made of upcycled materials. And as you can see, if you go into the one page, their bags have this logo on them here, the BYO bag logo. So the entire bag.
That was on those t-shirts too.
Yes, so, but then our bags are going to have, the managers, we worked with marketing based on designs we already had. And the design that was selected, if you go, sorry, they're not numbered, but is the new design that Jungo designed for our Staff Appreciation Day. And it's the
Okay.
Cleveland Public logo.
Yeah.
And so that's the design that will be on the cloth bags that are Cleveland Public Library bags. So on each bag, we'll also have to have acknowledging that this was a grant-funded opportunity, and we'll have a logo by the county, which is the BYO bag, the green and blue logo on the bottom. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, because I know that this was proposed some time ago, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Was there any discussion with the county on if this will be an annual grant on, if this is one time? Also, when you think about like sustainability,
Mhm.
for us to have to like add this as like we'll in the future have to, because 8,000, of course, could have so many, so.
Yes, that's a great question. So this is the last grant opportunity from the county. So we actually received the last grant that they're going to be offering. As far as they know, they won't be having offering this grant opportunity in the future. That being said, in conversations with Tracy Martin, she's actively looking at other opportunities for grants to continue this program if this is something that, other branches would like to, take on. Currently, the branch managers at the Harvard Lee branch, Kristen Schmidt, at the South branch, Jaime Declet, and Forrest Likens at the West Park branch. They are really committed to eliminating plastic bags at their locations, so that what they'll end up doing is creating a stand where you will leave a bag, take a bag for future, paying it forward for other patrons to have an opportunity. If they forgot their bag, they'll have a bag there. So that's the sustainability piece that we're aiming for. We also will be providing programming, around this, where we will have patrons make their own bags, and I'm going to be creating a stamp of the logo so that they can stamp the bags and make them themselves. So,
Thank you.
I think you answered my question.
Yep.
That's how the sites were chosen for the initial pilot, was because of.
yeah, actually, Forrest Likens reached out to Tracy Martin because a community partner reached out to him about this grant. And then another community partner reached out to me inquiring if we would be interested in participating in applying for the grant. So it turned out that we ended up, we had this interest among the managers as champions.
That's great.
Mhm.
Good to hear.
You know what, I really like how the community is always thinking about us and how we could help, further what we're doing in
Mhm.
all of our communities. But I have a question, and maybe Mr. Malcolm could answer this. Is there a cheat sheet for all the different items you could find on this logo?
Oh, that's great.
Because over here, he has that ocular thing, I'm like, and I'm starting to look. There's so much on here that
There's a lot on there. We could probably have Jungkook come in and probably give an
Jungkook.
overview of what
I
he
was
saw
like,
in doing that.
it's so creative when you're really looking at it. All the different text, you could tell it's somebody from tech, because
Yes.
everything has to do with, I'm like. what
And I
the
think
heck?
human resources kind of like gave him a lot of stipulations back and forth, so that we learned at our staff appreciation day.
Oh,
So that was
really?
funny,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is so cool, though.
So-
Every-
More complex
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Oh, it was.
I also just wanted to point out that with the managers, the creativity behind how we're going to incentivize patrons to participate, when they receive a bag, they will, if you go on to the page, the Incentivize BYO Bags program, we're using a vintage library card, with those vintage library card checkout
Yeah,
cards. And we're going to have a section for the date, and we have the date stampers still in the branches, as well as the names of the libraries. So they'll be stamped every time a patron comes in to reuse their bag, that this will be stamped and filled up. And at the end, when they fill up the little card, they'll be entered into a raffle. So,
Yeah,
wow.
great idea.
Great.
That will definitely make me even remember to, 'cause
Yeah.
I have reusable bags in my car all the time and I don't always remember to bring them.
Now we're gonna have the plastic bag still, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking about the downtown area where a lot of people are using our bags for other things
Yeah.
besides books.
yes, yeah,
Are we gonna
absolutely. Yeah, oh yeah,
Strongly encourage them to,
for the BYO
just
bag
the
program.
patrons,
Oh.
a lot of them that are not homed, they use
Oh,
our
they
bags
do use
for
our
other
plastic
things
bags.
besides books. So
Mhm.
I'm just thinking, how are we gonna help them or encourage them?
Well, we'll be still using those bags
Mhm.
here, right? We're going to use it this at 3 locations, and hopefully that'll expand. But our bags, we've had put a lot of thought into the bags that we use currently, and while they are plastic, they are very strong and
Mhm.
are
People
and
reuse
use
them all.
and
Mhm.
people reuse them, and you see folks walking. Some, like you said, some folks use them
Yes.
for a lot more than just the library
Mhm,
stuff that they
mhm.
carry, because they're such strong bags. So we will continue to use it, but
Mhm.
the idea of this is to continue to move forward with reductions in plastic, and getting to a point where we're using cloth bags and getting our staff to be inventive around how they get people to go that way.
Yeah, the other thing I learned too about the plastic bags is that I just learned that they're biodegradable.
Oh, nice.
But I have to learn a little bit more so I can share it with the county. Yeah, our plastic bags. And to see if in fact they would qualify for like kind of an exemption,
Nice,
So-
thank
This
you.
list of statistics and facts,
Yes.
like how many plastic bags every year in Cuyahoga County and so forth. I remember when I was in Nairobi, Kenya, we were staying with this guy who was in charge of some environmental stuff there. And every garbage can that we saw in the Nairobi airport or anywhere, they listed how long it takes a banana to
You're right.
disintegrate and all these facts. So that if you had something like this listed on your recycling bin or something, it would help educate people how many things that we really need to be aware of.
Absolutely. And that's part of this campaign is to share from the toolkit that they provided, that the county provided, which includes those statistics that we will share. So does anyone have any questions or?
Well, I think I can add that one thing that we have done is Marina's title has changed and the role with us has changed, kind of
Separate.
projects and sustainability or
Nice.
something of that nature. What is her title, Judd?
Community engagement and sustainability
There you go.
manager.
Right. So I know it was something. So
Mhm.
with the intention that we have somebody on staff that's really concentrating and focusing on moving us that way, as you said, Trustee Butts, on how we can identify more sustainable practices.
Well, I
along the
first
way.
met Marina where I sat 4 days with her at the sustainability conference.
Yes, yeah, we were presenting there. So
Yeah.
on behalf of the
She
library.
said, "You gotta keep her."
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And when,
I also wanted to just mention that the West Side Market and the satellite locations, the Art Box, Edgewater Beach Book Box, as well as Wade Oval Book Box.
Could you
Um,
say that again?
Wait, all of the satellite locations, the book boxes, Edgewater Beach Book Box, Art Box, and the Wade Oval Book Box, and the West Side Market stand are also part of this. We'll be implementing the elimination of plastic bags and using the cloth bags.
Love it.
Okay.
Good job.
Great. Okay.
thank you, Marina.
Thank you, Marina.
Make a motion, Ms. Moose, to full board.
Second? Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Next, we have the resolution to ratify and approve the purchase of insurance coverage for policies effective August 1st, 2024.
So this resolution that is before you today is the resolution to purchase insurance for the next policy year. The new total of premiums for the 2024 to 2025 term will be $640,508.50 compared to an expiring term of $593,905.60. which is about a 7.8% increase, or an increase in the neighborhood of $46,602. But I want to point out a few things. Although there is this increase of $46,000, half of that is due to really two things. One, we have expanded our coverage on fine arts policy, under our fine arts policy by adding a number of rare book materials. So that's resulting in a higher premium because it's coverage that we didn't previously have. And two, we were given the opportunity to renew our crime liability coverage for a second year at what we found to be a very favorable price, rather than waiting for next year to be able to renew as part of the next year's renewal. So in effect, about half of that $46,000 is either next year's policy or because of additional coverage that we're purchasing. But the other half of it is going to be your standard annual increase, which is going to be due to either claims made, such as the case with our EPLI, or employer practices and public liability insurance, as well as just annual inflation, which brokers are telling us is about 4%. Our coverage by its nature hasn't changed since last year, but we have one change that I do want to point out, and that is where we are purchasing our coverage from. All of our liability insurance, with the exception of our cyber and crime liability, while it's still brokered by McGowan, isn't going to be coming through Travelers like it was previously. We've switched to Munich Re, which is a German-based insurance company that has a specialty insurance line that many local governments work with, including, I think, the most recent a local government to switch to them was the city of Shaker Heights. And this actually resulted in a significant savings for us overall. As you'll see, the price for the combined liability insurance for this year is about $145,000 compared to last year's $167,000.
So a question on the fine art, because it's both our rare books, but then there's actually art in this building, right? So does it
Correct.
cover both? And is this enough, I guess, like 12 million? Have
Well,
we had it appraised? Have we,
we have had appraisals done. The appraisal that we had most recently done concerned just books, I believe. I can't speak in great detail because I didn't handle that. I can find out and report back on the full board meeting on Thursday.
What would you like to know?
Please come to the front.
Michael Ruffing has that information.
And a parking lot question related to fine art is a mural installed in the building or fine art, like the lamps, the candelabras, on the first floor. I mean, some of it is building a fixture in the building versus fine art. I guess how are we also like
Those would
ensuring?
be covered under our property policy. It's just a part of the building versus a portrait.
But also all the branches that have artwork inside them or a mural on the outside, all of that's under something.
Right, so
Probably
something that is
property.
affixed to the building, like a mural or a light fixture, would be under our standard property coverage. Fine arts covers what they call rare papers, special papers, rare books, and that sort of thing, and artwork in the traditional sense. Michael can answer questions about the number of volumes that we've added and
So
their value.
we did an appraisal last year. The former vice president of Rare Books of Christie's came to us through an RFP process, very well qualified person, and we identified about 250 titles. That's not a volume count, that's a title count. There are many more volumes because some titles are multiple volumes that were valued between $10,000 and $1.5 million. And so those are specifically scheduled on the library's policy. Everything else is done on an average per volume basis, and we are working on revising that figure ultimately. It's not going to be done this year, but possibly next year, because it'll probably be based on a sample as opposed to, well, I don't know what it would be opposed to. We can't appraise 180,000 volumes, so we have to have averages.
108.
Or
um,
I'm guessing, I don't have the
1,000
numbers in front of me, but there are quite a few volumes, and so
titles.
we would take a sample of what's in the vault and look up and determine an approximate value for those titles, and then come up with an average and multiply it. We have things in the vault, we have things outside the vault. Everything that's rare is supposed to be in the vault, so that would be the basis of the sample, would be the vault, would be the total, and then we would do a sample within that. So.
Yeah, I think though, for trustee Shakarian's question is the artwork that from time to time will either be on, but we have on our walls, or that we bring in, for instance, those things that we bring in for exhibits and things of that nature, or things we own, are part of this fine arts?
Well, I don't know the full answer, but we'll share this answer. I think that if we own something, we insure it a certain way. And if something comes onto our property as a loan,
We cover that by insurance.
Right.
Our standard policy has provisions for property that is lent to us, as well as property that we have on loan
Okay. Very
to
good.
other entities, not necessarily listed in our fine arts policy. But we do carry coverage, and I can look into more specifics.
and we also have in trust the Federal New Deal Art Collection, which we have an agreement that we don't own it, but we have had it on our property since it was created. I don't know if we insure that,
Well, now it would be covered under the fine arts policy.
We don't
I
own
have to
it.
check on that.
It's one of those, it's a very unique situation that we have this great collection of art that we don't own, that we're the caretaker for. And it operates that way across the nation. No one owns art that was produced under the federal art projects of the 1930s. They are public property.
That's interesting.
Our contract probably states what our obligations are. I don't know offhand.
I'll find out.
So would you two, Tiffany and John, get together and have an answer for us on Thursday?
About the federal art.
Just art in general.
Art in general.
All right.
I have one more question, Brian.
Yes.
And I know that there's an exclusion for professional services, but do we have a separate legal malpractice policy for you? No, take no offense to this question, but
None taken. It is not a standalone policy, but it
Okay.
is, legal malpractice is covered under our EPLI.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's under our public officials and EPLI policies together.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Thank you. We'll move for adoption to the full board.
Second?
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
He was.
Then we have next exhibit 4. Right. Yes.
This is an exhibit to ratify the purchase of 3 shop vehicles. These are Chevy Silverado pickup trucks, which are being used by the property management carpenter shop and double as our plow vehicles for the winter. Board previously approved the agreement with Enterprise, and this is just ratifying the actual purchases under the approved allotment.
Okay. I think we talked about this before. We went
The
on.
cars have been
break.
trickling, in, so it feels like every month we're coming to you as the cars are received, we bring it to
Okay.
board to ratify the purchase.
I
Perfect.
didn't know they trickled.
So
Doesn't
Michael's
sound
checking.
good.
We'll have
Because he
move for
usually-
full adoption to the board.
he would call or something.
Mm-hmm.
Second?
Oh, no problem.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Mr. Carrion?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 5 is resolution to
Look at
authorize
Susan.
agreement for renovation.
Stepping right in, even without
She's
anybody
quick.
saying anything. Look at her.
To text Central and to authorize project budget.
This is a non-FMP capital project. As board maybe recall, we have the major capital investments in the main LSW campus, so till the end of the neighborhood branch recapitalization, but we are attacking projects as they present and are needed. This grew from a desire on the IT team side to kind of reposition, rebalance the desktop computing with the makerspace in Tech Central. And sometimes scope growth can be a good thing. So we thought, well, we need to do some light upgrades with the raised flooring system. That led to issues with the ceiling, which is the lifts are supported by the floor, which led to a larger floor issue, which led to let's be sustainable and do the LED lights while we're at it, which led to, well, there's really more equipment involved. So the project grew. We brought in a designer. Board may recall approving the fees for Boswick Design Partnership to develop the construction documents for it. Went out to bidding last month, and the bids are presented in the resolution. So we've really got a good spread here. Pleased to say it's below what the estimate we had put on the work. And then the total budget will include the cost of the general contract. Sterling Professional Group predates my time at the library, but they have worked for the library before. They're from Valley View. And then you can see on the final page, a contingency budget, 8% for potential change orders that might arise. There is furniture embedded in the general contract, but I held out $25,000 for additional technology to be coordinated with the CITO, and then the architect fees, which were previously approved.
That was good.
John, just a quick question. When was the last time that we've done any updates to Tech Central? It's been a while,
I
right?
think it's 11 or 12 years
Yeah,
since
it's
we
been a
opened
while.
Tech Central, and we've done light and maintenance work on it, but we
But
really
nothing-
haven't. Nothing like this.
So it's time.
It's time. I move for full adoption to the board.
Second?
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 6 is the resolution to authorize agreement for Eastman Reading Garden lighting project.
So I can speak to the bid process, but Tiffany can really speak to the artistic vision for the. This was presented previously, you may recall, in terms of a list of projects we were hoping to accomplish this year. So we worked with Rod and Friedman Lighting Design. He was our designer on the project. developed the scope, advertised the project, cost estimates, as you can see in the whereas clause. We only got a single bid, but it was a bidder that our designer was very familiar with, and the bid happened to be within a few percentages of the library's estimate for the work. We brought them in for a scope review meeting, went over everything. Really excited. It's going to be a great looking project, and so we're recommending award of the contract. Tiffany, do you want to add anything?
Sure. This is just as a reminder, these are LED lights that will be on the interior of the Eastman Reading Garden, looking at the main facade that faces the garden, as well as the facades of LSW. We will also be lighting up the gates and doing some repair work to the lighting in the Myelin fountain as well. So we have amazing assets in the garden that are just really not highlighted. So this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of what we already have and improve pedestrian safety in the dark, and hopefully keep that space feeling active for longer.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You shared some preview pictures with us of the project. and
Yeah.
This will remain in place through the anniversary of the original building.
This is, yes, these lights will be installed. I don't like to call anything permanent, but permanent for this. They are the same type of technology that's on the Tower City building. So something that we can change. I'm hoping to work, Ashley, just so you're aware, we're going to be reaching out to you to work on getting like a calendar of awareness months and other things that we can pre-program into a schedule. But we can also respond to things such as if and when one of our sports teams wins a championship or something to that effect, we can, very quickly be able to update the program in that way. So it's a way for us to sort of celebrate what we know will be happening, but also respond to current events.
And
Excellent.
historically, we haven't had hours for the reading garden. That has never been posted. We've, had it open or here or there, but you can't have lights and then not have the garden be open longer so people can be able to see the lights. So we're going to be working with our security staff on how we keep the garden open longer, and we'll bring that to you on what our schedule looks to be for the fall and then in winter, and then ultimately spring through October, where we want to keep the lights open higher.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so
Great,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
I move full adoption to the board.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes. Next, Mr. Lang busy. Resolution to amend project budget for the Martin Luther King Junior branch and to authorize amendment to agreement for design services.
So this is
What did I do?
requesting a fairly large increase to the MLK budget. There's no beating around the bush about that. I do want to start with some good news. As you'll hear later from Carrie, we are in the process of closing out our Group 1 FMP projects.
Yes.
So many of those projects have reached closeout with a positive balance on the book for the project. So while this is a fairly large increase to the MLK project, it will reflect no impact to the bottom line of the FMP. In other words, the savings from the other projects will fund the requested increase to the MLK project. That's over $900,000 in savings from Group 1. Amongst that is $220,000 in E-rate Category 2 funding for the MLK project, which the library has not yet received, but which has been approved working through our coordinator of the E-rate program. So that maybe will help to assuage the sticker shock from what I'm requesting, which is $780,000, broken down largely between construction contingency to pay for change orders and to provide the library some flexibility to potentially negotiate settlements of claims that have arisen on the project at the change order level rather than at the formal claims process. Also to fund the movie theater style audiovisual system, which we're putting in the MLK project. It'll be very unique amongst all the CPL branches, and then to pay for some special enhancements to the furniture design for the children's section.
I just have a curious question for the owner's construction contingency, the way you said you based it. Is there, do you have an idea of how much in change orders are already pending that led you to the 500,000?
We do. It's not shown here. I should just remind Schedule E that Carrie includes in the monthly minutes shows all the past expenditures on the project. What's facing the project now is resolutions of delay costs associated with various things on the project. The water infiltration issue we have with the developers is large among them, and we potentially have a pending claim against the developer for that. So that will sort out over time. In the meantime, we're trying to address the subcontractor's valid costs.
So if I may add or piggyback to what she just said, and I don't know if she was trying to ask a question for Tom, what percentage are we at?
Yeah, so higher
Tom
than
always
we-
asks that question.
higher than we want to be.
Okay.
I will remind board, if you're looking at the final page, the guaranteed maximum price does not include the library's sale of our CPL
Well,
1 and
that's what I was
CPL
just
2.
gonna ask, how much are we getting for the old building?
$5.2 million. So it looks like it was a $14.5 million construction project. It's really almost a $20 million construction project, which makes the impacts, if you prorate it. But in any case, we are spending more than I would like to for any project, really. If approved, the owner's construction contingency will be up to 15.6% of the $14.5 million shown, but 11.5% of the $19.7 million, which is the true cost of construction. So we like to start with 5%, within 5 to 10%, feel pretty good. So 11.5% is larger than I'd like, but this is as I'm constantly reminded, a particularly challenging and unique project. And in any case, if all the money isn't spent, eventually it will come back to the library during closeout. Architect and engineer fees, we'd like to keep those in the 11 to 12% range. If approved, this resolution would take Jonathan Kurtz and their associated consultants team up to 14.4% of the total construction budget.
And this was also just for like furniture and fixtures, if I recall correctly, there's more custom furniture in the MLK branch. than
There's
the other
some
branches,
custom
correct?
millwork, which is in the construction budget. So that doesn't
Oh.
show up in our furniture buy. And then there's a lot of off-the-shelf furniture that we're buying. That shows up on the furniture. line
Okay, so
item.
the custom ones are not under furniture and fixtures.
The custom furniture is included in the millwork package in the construction contract. So right, that's shown that's in the guaranteed maximum price.
Okay.
John, what's the status of responsibility of the water infiltration? And I mean, we're not going to recapture funds from that to make up for any of this, but what's the status right now of who's responsible?
We've put developer on notice that, our read of the kind, and Brian can step in if I'm getting in legal waters here, but we've put them on notice that we're still collecting costs, but that we see this as a breach of contract on their side. They have submitted a claim to insure. It's a joint insurance policy. So we're kind of in wait to see if any or how much of our losses may be covered, which might guide our strategy in approaching developer regarding claims, depending on how close to being made whole we are.
Why did you say that 19.7 is the true cost of construction?
Because the $14.5 million is the guaranteed maximum price, but there's $5.2 million, which isn't shown
Oh,
in this
you're talking about the
spreadsheet.
part that
Right.
they're cut for the old building.
Thank you, John.
Yes,
I'm
thank
going
you.
on. We're getting there.
We are getting there. We
No, thanks, and look
Is
forward to
there-
walking the site with you, trustee
Yes.
Parker. We are getting there.
And,
I'm
John,
excited.
Are you going? I want to go too.
Next Friday.
What,
Yeah.
another hard
What I
hat
said.
tour?
It was going to be a
Really?
VIP tour, but anybody like to join, we'll
Oh, my.
Yes,
be there.
I'm
Another-
excited.
Another
Next Friday?
question.
Well, get Stephanie or Michael could
Yeah.
get us the info and maybe might be
Yeah.
a little bit. Is that okay? Do you mind if we
Yes.
join you?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could get the info and send it out to us to see, just in
Mm.
case.
I was just gonna walk the grounds and pray.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bring
please,
some
someone.
holy water.
My God.
Yes. We need to bless it all.
Just
I
as,
move for adoption to the full board.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there still any hope of the building be open in time for Martin Luther King?
Oh, that's what
That's
we're
the goal
working
still.
towards.
That's January
That's what I'm doing,
2025.
Well,
Yeah, so the building
That
will
just
be
came into
open.
existence.
I know.
The building will be open and we will do a ribbon cutting January 25th.
There you go.
Right.
Yay.
There may not be anything in it, but we're gonna do a ribbon cutting no matter what.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Butts,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carey.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes. Exhibit 8 is the resolution to authorize agreement with Securitas Technology for alarm monitoring services.
I can speak to this briefly. This is kind of the alarm monitoring is always a joint production with property management and with protective services. And I see Director Goins is not here. We were at the end of our term with Guardian Alarm, and so put. Oh, sorry. Oh, there you are. Okay. We were at the end of our term for monitoring systems with Guardian Alarm, put the contract out to let, and you can see the results. Turns out Guardian, our incumbent, was not the low bidder. Securitas Technology is the low bid, and so we're recommending they get the new contract.
Sounds good.
Any thoughts, Director Goins? You're good?
No, it's the best bid.
All right. Well, I move for adoption
And
of
this
full
recent
board.
act of vandalism was just.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Mr. Carey?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes. It looks like the exhibit 9 is the,
Do you think it would help if those alarms would keep on going really loudly just after the person breaks your glass or whatever?
Yeah, we were just discussing that with the director. So the way it's supposed to work, and it has worked in all instances up to this one yesterday, and I'm not sure I've got all the details yet, is the break-in occurs, a sensor is triggered, the alarm at the alarm panel, the burglar alarm panel in the building sounds.
So it's a silent alarm as far as the neighbors are concerned.
It is audible inside the space.
Yeah.
What we don't have is any kind of a two-way, there's no voice conversation. We can't say, we've got you on camera, get out of the building or anything like that. That repeats to our alarm monitoring service, and then that goes to Cleveland Police Department to trigger the response.
Thank you.
I know this is like a question not on our side, but when it goes to the Cleveland Police, have we ever like looked at what response times are like?
We have them for all of the,
Cleveland.
I think we have
Watch
those.
the news.
And for the break-ins we were
That's why I asked,
experiencing
I'm like,
last
I can't
year,
imagine the response times that quick.
well, a lot of them were some of them were as quick as 4 minutes, some of them
Oh,
were up
wow.
to 11
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay.
This feels like I'm speaking way out of turn. This feels like a different MO, this one we had yesterday at Addison. The other ones all seem to be very similar. Matter of fact, we actually had the perpetrator on video looking at a phone on a timer. So he knew to get in and out of the building within the parameters of when CPD could respond. So we were getting pretty prompt responses from the police department, but the perp was out of the building before they showed up.
And this is just a side, like in a historical sense, have most break-ins happened from like the main points of entry, such as the door, or has there ever been windows or scaling in some fashion into other windows?
This most recent one was a glass block facade at the back of the building that was smashed in. So we've had transoms broken, side light glass panels broken. It typically hasn't been a forced door.
thank you. We're at exhibit 9, the 7th amendment to the year 2024 appropriation.
So there's two things within this amendment. The first is that, as I reported in August at our work session, our certificate of estimated resources in the general fund was updated on June 26, and it decreased the public library fund per the Ohio Department of Taxation's final certification by $369,357.27. And then we will be appropriating, like John spoke, for the Eastman Reading Garden and the Tech Central renovation in our building and repair fund, a total of $1,335,699.20. And we will not be appropriating the funds for the Martin Luther King Jr. project budget increase because those funds were already appropriated in the funds in the projects previously that are going to be closed out. And if you look at the construction reports that I submit to the board monthly, the last one is E2, which is for August. You can see the available balances left in the projects that we will be closing out. And we'll be closing out about $934,000 in projects. But we haven't formally closed them out until we've expended all the funds and there's a final report issued to the board. But those are available funds that can be used and reappropriated.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. I move for full adoption to the board.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes, and that would include the finance committee portion of this meeting.
Thank you, trustee Parker.
Thank you, Chair.
We're going to move into the Human Resource Committee meeting. Trustee Shakarian, please.
I present the Exhibit 10, the regular employment report detailing new hires, resignations, retirements, and terminations, along with compensation changes since our last board meeting. I move for consideration of this at the full board meeting.
Second.
There's been a committee change.
Oh, that's right.
Shuffle.
Well, there's
Yes.
so
Yeah, we will update that on Thursday, as of Thursday.
Thank you. So,
As of
Mr.
Thursday.
Parker,
My second still is on Monday.
Ms. Butts?
My
Ms.
apologies.
Yes.
Shakarian, And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
I present Exhibit 11, resolution to amend the Human Resources Manual. And this was about 18 months of work by our HR team.
Great job.
Resolution to amend the Human Resources Manual pursuant to Section 120 of the Human Resources Manual. The Board of Library Trustees must approve all changes to the Human Resources Manual, and the library's HR department is in the process of conducting a comprehensive review and revision to the HR manual to reflect the prevailing practices in today's workplaces. And the library's HR department recommends that the Human Resources Manual be revised to include an updated Section 490 drug-free workplace and related procedure, and a revised Section 270 driver's policy and related procedure. The two policies are set forth in Exhibit A to this resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of the Library Trustees hereby approves the proposed revisions to the Human Resources Manual as attached to this resolution to update Sections 490 and 270 of the HR Manual, with the updates becoming effective September 20th, 2024, and instructs libraries management to be responsible for the implementation and execution of the provisions of these policies and their related procedures.
Nice.
Cedric, would you like to add anything for the benefit of the board's education?
So as the trustee had pointed out, there was a lot of work that went into this, consulting with legal and even our outside resources through EASE and even Hospital, as well as St. Vincent's Charity. The big thing in the policy, the biggest change, it bolsters our reasonable suspicion testing. And the really good thing about this particular policy, it was fully adopted by Local 860 when we did the contract extension. Okay, so SEIU does have some outliers in their contract, specific things. So their contract will be taken into consideration, such as reasonable suspicion that's tied to damage amounts and things of that nature. So we're hoping when contract negotiations come up, they too will adopt the policy fully. But it's a lot of training. We started some of the training with the managers, doing some pilot testing as far as the reasonable suspicion portion go. So that was.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
I move for consideration at the full board meeting.
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And following up on Exhibit 10, I present Exhibit 12, retirement recognition citations for Sheila Majette Price, Mark McCarter, Linda Varies, Jenna Sauls, Reginald Chappelle, and Anthony Pajolis. I hope they can all make it to our full board meeting. I present this for consideration at our full board meeting.
We will be sending, we've sent something out to all of them, and we'll send something again, asking them to see if they can come on Thursday. But many of them have already been retired over the summer, so.
They're laying on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, they're not thinking about coming and talking to us, but we'll see what we can do.
May I entertain a second?
Second.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And before we end, I was going to have Tiffany introduce someone to us, especially because Trustee Corrigan would be very interested in me. And of course, Trustee Corrigan isn't here. He is caught up in a trial right now. So Tiffany, if you could quickly do the introduction.
Sure, I would be so happy to. And then I would like to maybe let Antonio introduce himself to you as well. So as some background, earlier this year, we were contacted by the National Urban Fellowship Program. It is an opportunity that provides people getting their master's degree in public policy from Georgetown University to concurrently, as part of their program, they get a master's degree and they do a placement in a space that provides on-the-job learning opportunities specifically for leadership training in the public and civic sectors. And Cleveland Public Library applied back in February to be a host as part of this program. Cleveland has a great alumni network of National Urban Fellows. This opportunity came to us via Ashley Boyd and Lynn Sargi. And I'm really pleased to announce that not only were we selected to host a fellow, we got to interview 8 amazing people from across the country. And I present to you Antonio, who is going to be with us until May. I would love to let him introduce himself to all of you as well. He is specifically going to be working on the PRISM project with us, which is a program that Shanice and her team secured funding for through the Art for Justice Fund. We have an active call for artists out right now. So if you know any artists who are interested in doing work on mass incarceration, you could send them our way. We're also doing a community education series, and we've been working with the ops team and Erica on that. I would just love Antonio to introduce himself to all of you and let you introduce yourselves to him.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Jauregui. I'm so thrilled to be here with the library as part of the National Urban Fellows. So it's a 14-month accelerated master's program at Georgetown. And so I'll be doing my fellowship here at the library and also completing online night classes through Georgetown as well. So with that, by the end of the program, I'll receive my master's in policy management. And originally I'm from California, so I'm very excited to, be here in the Midwest, be here in Ohio. I came with my family, my partner, and our 7-month-old baby. So yeah, we're just enjoying. We love the library, so we're just enjoying all the resources, all the things that the library and also Cleveland has to offer. And with this PRISM project, just excited to learn some more, do great research, and produce, a capstone that will be useful to the library as well. So yeah, and I'm in the 2nd floor, so I'll be, there and might pop in to meet some more of you all. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Antonio.
Yes.
Is there a way that the call for artists could be sent out to us in an email, just so we could share it?
I'll share it with Stephanie and Michael, and they can send it to you. Thank you so much.
Great.
At this time, I call the Joint Finance and Human Resource Committee meeting adjourned.
Adjourn.
So, what I was thinking, we're just trying to get you blended in. So, just for every month we do that on Tuesdays, because that way, since sometimes on the full board